The sky churned, a canvas of bruised purple and angry grey. The air was thick with an electric charge, a prelude to the chaos that was about to unfold. A storm was coming, but this was no ordinary tempest. It was as if the heavens themselves were preparing for a battle, a clash of titanic forces unseen by human eyes. This was a darkness that seeped into the souls of men, a creeping dread that whispered of ancient evils and forgotten sins. The book of Genesis, a story old as time, tells of a moment when the world tilted on its axis, a moment when the balance of creation was disrupted and the natural order was thrown into disarray, a moment when creation itself seemed to groan under a terrible weight. The earth trembled and the skies wept, as if mourning the loss of innocence. It was a time when the lines blurred between the heavens and the earth, when the divine and the mortal realms intertwined in ways that defied comprehension. Genesis 6:1-4 lays bare the heart of the mystery. It speaks of a time when the boundaries between the celestial and the terrestrial were crossed, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born unto them, that the world began to change in ways unimaginable. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. This union of the divine and the human brought forth beings of great power and mystery. These verses speak of beings known as the Nephilim, the giants of old. They were mighty and renowned, their legends echoing through the corridors of time. Were they the offspring of angels and humans? The question lingers, casting a long shadow over our understanding of ancient history. The text doesn't shy away from this unsettling possibility. It invites us to ponder the mysteries of our past and the forces that shaped our world. Imagine a time before skyscrapers pierced the heavens. Picture a world illuminated only by the sun, moon, and stars. Into this ancient tapestry descended beings of unimaginable power and glory. We call them angels. These were not the cherubic figures of Renaissance paintings. These were beings of fire and light, their very presence radiating an otherworldly aura.
The book of Genesis describes them as the sons of God. They were drawn to the daughters of men, captivated by their beauty. This union, forbidden and strange, resulted in offspring unlike any the world had ever seen. These were the Nephilim, a generation born of celestial beings and earthly women.
These were not children who could blend in. These were giants, their births heralded by whispers and tales that would echo through millennia. Picture a nomadic tribe gathered around a flickering fire, their faces etched with a primal fear.
The women whisper of impossible births, of children who grow at an alarming rate, towering over their parents. Their strength was legendary, their deeds the stuff of myths and nightmares. They strode across the land, their footsteps shaking the very foundations of the world. They became the heroes of dark legends, their appetites insatiable, their desires unrestrained.
The arrival of the Nephilim marked a turning point in human history. Their presence brought not just wonder but chaos and violence. The world, once filled with the promise of Eden, descended into a spiral of wickedness. The Bible tells us that the earth was filled with violence and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. It was as if the very fabric of humanity was unraveling, the divine spark of creation all but extinguished by the darkness that had enveloped the world. The stench of sin rose to the heavens, a bitter stench that grieved the heart of the Creator. Amidst the encroaching darkness, a single light flickered, a righteous man named Noah. The book of Genesis tells us that Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. In a world drowning in wickedness, Noah stood as a beacon of hope, his heart still attuned to the divine will.
God, grieved by the state of his creation, made a covenant with me, a promise to cleanse the world and give humanity a fresh start.
He commanded Noah to build an ark, a vessel of salvation that would weather the storm of God's judgment. And so, as the world around him reveled in depravity, Noah obeyed. His hammer blows a testament to his unwavering faith. Then it began. The heavens opened, unleashing a torrent unlike anything the world had ever seen. The rains fell relentlessly, turning streams into rivers, rivers into raging seas. The earth, once solid ground, became a churning mass of water. The cries of the wicked, once shouts of revelry, became screams of terror as the waters rose, swallowing everything in their path. For 40 days and 40 nights, the deluge continued, a relentless reminder of God's power and his judgment. The Nephilim, those giants who once seemed invincible, were swept away by the flood, their reign of terror brought to an abrupt and cataclysmic end. The world they had corrupted, along with its inhabitants, vanished beneath the waves. The flood marked a new beginning, a cleansing of the earth. It was a moment of renewal, washing away the old and making way for the new. The ancient world was forever changed, but not all memories were lost. But the memory of the Nephilim lingered, their legend echoing through the generations. These giants, born of divine and human unions, left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of humanity. Even after the floodwaters receded, whispers of giants persisted, carried on the winds of time. The stories of their immense size and strength were passed down, becoming part of the fabric of ancient lore. Centuries later, as the Israelites journeyed towards the Promised Land, they encountered terrifying reminders of those ancient days. The land was filled with echoes of the past, and the presence of giants was felt in every corner.
Numbers chapter 13, verse 33, describes the fear that gripped the hearts of the Israelite spies. They saw themselves as mere insects in comparison to the giants they encountered. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. These beings were not just myths, they were real, towering over the landscape and the people who dared to enter their domain. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. The sheer scale of these giants was overwhelming, making the Israelites feel insignificant and vulnerable. These were the descendants of the Anakim, a race of giants who dwelt in the land of Canaan. Their legacy was etched into the very stones of the land, a testament to their once great presence.
Perhaps the most famous of these post-flood giants was Goliath, a towering warrior who challenged the Israelites in the valley of Elah. His presence on the battlefield was not just a physical threat, but a psychological one, casting a shadow of fear and intimidation over the entire Israelite army. Deuteronomy chapter 3 verse 11 describes him as a man of great stature, his height exceeding 9 feet. This immense size made him a formidable opponent, one who seemed invincible to those who faced him. Goliath, clad in bronze armor and wielding a spear like a weaver's beam, cast a long shadow over the battlefield. His armor alone weighed over 100 pounds, and his spearhead was made of iron, further emphasizing his strength and dominance. He became a symbol of the fear that giants inspired, a reminder of the power and menace they represented. His very name struck terror into the hearts of those who heard it, embodying the ultimate challenge and the greatest threat. Yet it was a young shepherd boy named David who would slay the giant, toppling him with a single stone from his sling. David's courage and faith stood in stark contrast to the fear that Goliath represented. David's victory over Goliath became a testament to the power of faith over fear, a reminder that even the most formidable of giants could be overcome. This story has endured through the ages, symbolizing the triumph of the underdog and the belief that courage and faith can conquer even the greatest of adversaries. We are left to ponder the mystery of the Nephilim. Were they literal giants, born of an unholy union between divine beings and mortal women? Or were they something else entirely, metaphors perhaps for the very real human capacity for wickedness and violence?
Perhaps the answer lies somewhere in between. Perhaps the Nephilim represent the eternal struggle between good and evil, a struggle that plays out not just in the pages of Scripture, but in the depths of our own hearts.
The story of the Nephilim, though steeped in the mists of time, continues to fascinate and unsettle us. It serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still linger in the shadows, whispers of an ancient world that continues to intrigue and challenge our understanding. And as we gaze up at the stars, we are left to wonder, what else might be out there, hidden from our sight, waiting to be revealed?